focusing on the purpose as opposed to focusing on the thing. Y'all hear that? They better come through on a Wednesday afternoon. What's up, beautiful people? Asian Mac, I'm BeABlessing. Happy Wednesday, episode 18 of It Was Written, a project, and as promised, it's a party. Did that hair for you guys today. You see me? Yo, come on. It's a fiesta over here. It's cool though. Gonna let them live. Having a great time over there. Alright. Sorry, I have to find the sun for you guys. Come through. Yep. Alright, so last week I came to you guys from beautiful Atwater Beach, downtown Detroit. Today I'm back at the park, one of my absolute favorite places to be. And I just want to piggyback today off of my random episode from last week. So if you didn't see the episode last week, I spoke about focusing on the purpose as opposed to focusing on the thing. And I spoke about they better come through. They better come through on a Wednesday afternoon. I am not mad at that at all. So yes, I spoke about focusing on the purpose as opposed to focusing on the thing, and I also spoke about operating from a higher vibration or frequency. And you can check that episode out to get like more clarity on what I mean by that. And I guess I'll like speak about it a little bit more today because I actually want to piggyback off of that episode today, because since let me just give you backstory about that episode. I considered that a bonus episode because I didn't plan on recording that day. I just happened to be I happened to be downtown and I ended up at Atwater Beach, and I just had stuff on my mind and I decided to record it because I didn't have a pen to write. So that's how it ended up happening, and then it became a bonus episode. But anyway, I was saying that since that episode, that's where my head has been at since then. Focus on the purpose. That's all that I can't get my mind off of anything else. I've been catching myself doing little things like, I don't know, like I'll find myself irritable, or something that I've been doing a lot lately. I'll find myself like replaying things from the past, and once I catch myself, I immediately, something is triggered and I'm like, focus on the purpose. And it brings me back to like that center. It brings me to, like Zen level. And it's awesome just having that awareness of, wow, like we really do have a choice in pretty much everything, but especially in the way that we react to things, because the way that we choose to react to things is a lot of times make or break. So not too long ago, probably about 2 months ago, I ended up buying some flashcards or like index cards, whatever, and I just started writing some things on them that I felt like I needed to meditate on, things that I felt like really needed to be rooted. Because we all just out here living this life, messing up, doing it all over again. And there are certain times when, speaking for myself, I just need that little reminder, that little extra guidance, that little tap on the shoulder that says, this thing that you are about to react to, is it worth the time and the attention that you're about to give to it? Sometimes it's that, the checking of yourself of like, you mad for what? Or you're worried why? Or the reminder of you have so much to be grateful for. So just different things. So lately I've been keeping 2 in particular with me. I've just been carrying them around with me. And of course I left them in the car. I'm gonna go back and get it for you. Okay, so I just ran back to my car, and I definitely have 33-year-old knees. All right. So these are the index cards, super basic, and they're front and back. Right now I don't even know how many I have, but maybe about, I don't even know, 20 maybe, that I just keep lying somewhere, and like before I go to bed sometimes I'll just like read them all over just to kind of like get them in, meditate on them. But these are the two that I've been keeping, that I've just been toting around with me. I'm gonna read this one because this is the one that, like, when I was getting irritable, I had to like keep reading it over. So this one is Philippians 2:12 and 14, and it says, to work hard to show the results of your salvation, obeying God with deep reverence and fear. For God is working in you, giving you the desire and power to do what pleases Him. And so this last part says, do everything without complaining and arguing. And I legit just had to keep repeating that to myself. Like, I'm so grateful that I have like this awareness now that, like, when I catch myself doing something and I just immediately shut it down, that day I was like, do everything without arguing or complaining. You complaining. And again, you know, it centers me. It immediately pulls me back, and I'm reminded that, like, okay, you have a choice. And I begin to focus on just the opposite of that. I begin to focus on like where I want to be, or what I'm in expectation for in regards to that, or any, like, whatever the situation is at the time. So for example, some unexpected expenses came up after I had already made plans and like budgeted out, like, you know, when your money is already like accounted for, like even before you get it, it's like this money goes here. So I started to fret a little bit because I had to spend money that was meant for other things, or like tap into my savings. And like now I'm at a point where it's like that, now I gotta make this money all over again and save this money all over again. I'm like, this is setting me back about a month. Just all these things, basically focusing on the thing as opposed to operating from a higher, again, you got to check out Focus on the Purpose. That was the last episode, so you can understand what I'm saying. I was focused on the thing. I was focused on what was in front of me. What was in front of me, what I could physically see with my eyes, was that now this money is gone. I don't know how long it's going to take me to make this money back. Really just focusing on the negative as opposed to, and again, the thing is like the physical. That's like the lowest level of vibration or like frequency that we can operate from. The higher is the spirit and the way that we think. And I immediately changed my thought process. So as opposed to focusing on what was in front of me, I was like, look, this amount of money that you're losing is nothing compared to the amount of money that's about to be flowing and circulating in your life, and that's just on that. And to be honest, it was kind of easy for me to make that shift because this is the other what do you call it? Index card, flash card, card that I've been keeping with me, and this one is Mark 11, 23, and 25, and it says, first and foremost, have faith in God. Have faith in God. First things first. And it says, I tell you the truth. You can say to this mountain, may be lifted and thrown into the sea, and it will happen. But you must really believe it will happen and have no doubt in your heart. I tell you, you can pray for anything, and if you believe that you've received it, it will be yours. And this one is the one. Like, this one is that deal, because what we believe is so vital. It's so important, and that's really where we need to be operating from. Like, that is that higher frequency, that higher vibration. It's spirit. And it's a super important question. What do you believe? Because what you believe is probably what you think on most often. Not not probably, it is. And if you don't know what that is, what you believe, what I'm trying to say, if you don't know what you believe, or if you're in denial about what you believe, just look at your life, and that's your answer. The way that your life is playing out right now, it can tell you 100% what you believe and what you think on most often. What's in front of us says a lot about the thoughts we hold. And I don't mean just like in like physically, you know, in physical form, because like your blessing could be around the corner, you know. I feel like I'm not explaining this the way that I really need to explain it. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm trying to, the words aren't coming. The words aren't coming. It has a lot to do with so many things. It's not just about the tangible things or the things that we can see physically. Not like the car that you have, the house that you have, the amount of money you have. You have to understand, like, there are two ways to see. You can see physically throughout your eyes, and you can see in your imagination. And before we have something physically, the sun just went down for me, before we can see it physically manifested in our life, we first have to see it here. So what I mean is, it's about the way that you can tell what a person believes and what they think about most often by the way that they act, by the things that they say, by the way that they treat other people, by the way that they live their lives. If you believe it, it shows up in the way that you live your life. That's what I mean when I say what's in front of us says a lot about the thoughts that we hold. Jesus. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so I just wanted to I just went out. That really kind of like, that took a lot out of me. Wow, before I went through all of that like hurt my head a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna give a perfect example of what I meant by that. Now I don't even know if it flows, because I just went on that little tangent. But what I was gonna say was, so I used to work in the service industry for a very long time, and like as of just recently, like due to COVID, obviously, like I was out of work, my bar closed or whatever. But anyway, I've been working in the service industry for a long time, and I've been trying to get out of the service industry for a very long time. Everything about the service industry it doesn't line up with who I am. Like I hate it. You know, I hate it. But I was stuck because I never said this out loud, but I didn't believe that I could make the money doing anything else. Like the amount, back in the day, I used to make so much money, and I didn't believe that I could do anything else and make the same amount of money. It didn't matter how much I talked about, you know, I want to be out of the service industry, you know, how much I hate it, how much I want to do X, Y, and I legitimately didn't believe that I could. And you would always find me, like, even if I like stopped for a little while, you would always find me going back to the service industry. Like, that's honestly, like, I truly believe like that was the only thing that worked for me. And I would complain when I got there about how much I hated being there, but I was still being there, slanging them drinks. Funny thing though, crazy thing, about a year and a half ago, that all shifted, because at that time, no matter what I did, I could not bring in even close to the amount of money that I used to bring in doing the same thing. I'm telling you, I worked at one of the most popular bars in Metro Detroit, and people knew me from like back in the day at this other bar that I used to work at, and they would see me And they'd be like, oh yeah, I know you making money here. I know you making way more money than, the other spot. And I would be like, literally could not hold on to, before I moved back to New York, I was working 3 jobs and had no money. My mom would be like, how do you have no money? And I had no answer. I was like, I don't know. Like, I legitimately don't know. I couldn't hold on to any money. And then went back to New York, and I worked back at the bar that I previously worked at, where I was making money. I was saving a whole lot of money. Went back to that bar. I could literally only pay my rent, and that's it. When I was working in Detroit before I moved back to New York, I couldn't make the money. I wouldn't have been able to make the money to pay my rent in New York. Okay, like I wasn't making, my rent in New York honestly wasn't that much. It wasn't that much. But I could only pay my rent. And it was just weird. It was just so weird. And I think that was God's way of saying, like, I'm gonna get you to change your belief. I'm talking about, again, one of the most popular restaurants in Metro Detroit and the most popular neighborhood bar in the Bronx, and I was making no money. And I feel like God was like, if I don't take this away from you, that belief will live on, and you're gonna constantly see this plan out in your life. So I was shook, but I was grateful at the same time, because it killed that belief. And I kid you not, I am not lying to you. Just today's Wednesday, Monday morning, I woke up to a voicemail from my old manager from that restaurant, asking me, did I want to come back to work? I said, devil, if you don't. And I think that God is like, what do you believe? What do you believe? Your actions are going to show what you believe. I ain't even calling back. What I desire and what I'm in expectation for, it just doesn't line up with that. Even though that's the perfect side hustle, and I am in a position of, like, I'm looking for another stream of income, but it ain't gonna be that, because I don't believe that that's the only way anymore. And honestly, I think that that's where it starts, knowing what you truly desire. That desire is gonna heighten your belief, and that belief is gonna ignite your expectation. We all know that for a lot of people, seeing is believing. But if you truly desire something, you can already see it. If you truly desire something, you can paint a precise picture of that thing that you desire. You can give a clear description, a clear image of the thing that you desire. So what is the difference between seeing something in your head and seeing something physically? If it's true that we tend to focus most on what we see, we give most of our attention to what we see. If seeing is believing, why not focus on what you see here, as opposed to what you see? It's gonna yield the same results. We're gonna manifest physically what we focus on the most, what we think about the most. So yeah, focus on the purpose, focus on the desire, get it rooted, and then you'll start to truly believe it. Remember that's the key. You can have anything you desire, you can have anything that you pray for, but you must first believe that you have received. You have to believe that it is possible first, because once you start believing in it, once you believe it, you're gonna start exhibiting acts of belief. Trust me, it don't matter what you say, it don't matter what you want, it don't matter what you say you want. If you don't believe it, you're not gonna do it, and vice versa. If you believe it, it's gonna show in your actions. Again, me and the bar life, as much as I wanted out, as much as I said that I wanted out, you can tell what I believe by what I was doing, slanging them drinks. As much as I absolutely hated it, I believed that it was the only way that I can make the money that I was making, and that's mostly because that's all that I knew. Thankfully, God knew the desires of my heart. You know what I mean? He knew what I truly desired, and I had to hit hard, to see something different, but thankfully I did, because it shifted the belief. And that's not even the first time that happened. Partnership, love, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that it could be for me. I thought it was a nice idea. I knew that I wanted it, but I didn't believe that I could have that. It took being shown that it was a true desire of my heart. I didn't even know that it was something that I desired. I had to be shown that, which is crazy. This is what I can say for sure. The things that you truly desire, you'll go to God about. Or the things that you truly desire, go to God about. And He'll help you. He'll help you with that belief. He'll help shift it for you. He'll help you see it a different way. I can honestly say that I am in expectation for so much because I know myself. And I know now the desires of my heart. And more than that, I've done the work. I found out if my desires, come on. I found out if my desires align with God's desires for me. And if they do, I believe that it's mine. And I'm like, that's it. That's it. So before I get out of here, I have to ask, beautiful, beautiful people, what do you desire? And more importantly, what do you believe, and do the two align? And if you desire something that you don't yet believe, just meet me back here next week. I got something for you. Until then, please continue to embrace vulnerability, share your stories. Come on, mosquitoes. Comment below. If you enjoyed the episode, give it a thumbs up, share with a friend if it can be a blessing to them. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching.